Welcome to Wildflowers and Whisky from Jolene's Tea House here in Banff, Alberta, Canada.
Hi, I'm Jolene Brewster, and welcome to Jolene's Tea House. And thank you for joining us in Banff today. I'm here to introduce to you one of my most favorite people in this town, Marie-Eve Marchand. Marie-Eve has devoted her life to global conservation, and then within that, her passion and energy has gone into the Bison Belong project here in Banff National Park, but now she's taken that a step beyond and focusing on bison across North America and how to bring together native relations and preserve this beautiful animal. So Marie-Eve, thank you for joining us. Now, I've been lucky enough to know you when you have actually lived many places around the world. But when you moved to Banff, and we are so lucky to have you, I was elated. How do you think that living in Banff in the mountains has changed your path?
It's a beautiful question again, because I did live in many places, different countries, and I was like, in my teenager, I thought I was a big urban person. I grew up in rural. I was like, no, I'm done. I'm a city person. I'm going to move. So I moved to London, and then I moved to Rome, and I'm going to live in cities, and let's go. And then one year I realized there's something missing in me. And I took my backpack. I left Montreal. I took 2 months and a half backpacking and hiking by myself. Ended up in Alaska and then in different places across from Bella Coola and back. And I was like, there's something missing. But it took me another decade to find a place where I wanted to live. And why I love Banff is like a small town where everything is close by. So it's really easy. Oh, I'm missing something. I can go get it. Mm-hmm. Or you're like, oh, I want to.
And you walk everywhere. I know that.
Yeah, you walk and you're like, I want to offer you something. It's like, okay, I'll be there in 5 minutes. And it's easy. But then it's so cosmopolitan. We have the world coming here and we're hosting the world. I mean, it's a privilege to live in a World Heritage Sites that belongs to humanity, that's been there for all the species that we're protecting to live with. We missed the bison 440 years, but it's back. So we have all of the species. So all the relations are there.
Thanks to you.
And it's so this place is what it should be.
It's a meeting point of so many cultures, energy, ideas, spirits.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this place was a World Heritage Site before it was. If you think about First Nation, they always came to Salish and the Tenaha.
This was a spiritual place for them.
They would come here. They would exchange salmon for bison. They would come for ceremonies. They would exchange their daughters and married under the springs and community sharing. And you have plants that came from the West Coast that was not available in the plains and that was in the Banff. And I was talking with a lot of the elders. Banff was meaningful, because they could get the medicines across when they meet here. And here it is. Banff is a tourist town. It is exactly what it's always been for 12,000 years plus. So it's beautiful to be in a place that actually is truly honest to what the vibration of the land is. And to me, that just feels like, this is my place. I want to be here. And there's so much. And, you have your business here and you're talking to someone who wrote an opera, or you're talking to someone else on the street who's like a ballet dancer. Life is pretty special. People come from all over. And it's a place that welcomes whatever your background is. If you work at it, you can fit in. And if you enjoy the mountains.
100% true.
Yeah.
100% true. Yes. Tell us about what challenges or obstacles you have faced in your life.
That's a really beautiful way to start the day, Jolene. Challenges. Let's talk about it. They're amazingly beautiful. They're a gift and never at the moment when you do it. So I'm French Canadian. And one of the things I had is I grew up in Quebec, 2 hours north of Quebec City. Everyone speaks French, but somewhere in my life, I wanted to do bigger, global. So actually, I was 16, I decided to finish high school in Jamaica to learn English. I know no one thinks about Jamaica for English, but that's where I went because I did have the money. It was cheaper than other countries, but I started to learn to live by myself, also to be very visible as a minority, because suddenly I was the only white in town. And so everyone's seeing me. So at that moment in grade 12 or 16, 17, it really changed my perspective of being that there's something else. There's other worldviews. There's something that I didn't know. The way I was raised, that my family, my 15 uncles and aunties, was not the only way in the world. And that moment was challenging. I had to change family 3 times. They wanted to baptize me as a Seventh-day Adventist. I had to move out. And that's before the internet or cell phone. Call were so expensive, talking to my family at that time. And I really, really learned a lot, but not that it was easy, but I've really learned a lot that actually you can trust your instinct. You can trust who you are, And actually, you're probably going to get out all right, but you have to be really honest with you. And that's one of the things that I carried with me all the rest of my life. So you talk about bison. What is this French Canadian working in the mountains, bringing the bison in Banff? When I had never lived there, I started a campaign. I was living in Montreal, then in Colorado. But no, I will bring bison in Banff. I never leave out west, but like, yeah. So it's that thing that I've learned there to listen, that there's other worldview, there's other value system at play, that the words that I express are maybe not the word that someone else hear, to that deep listening, but always consciously feeling, is that feels right. And I've carried that forward with me. And that's when they say, you want to help bring the bison? I was like, that sounds crazy. What would a French Canadian bring? But what I do know is I can listen and I can bring people together. So I was like, whoa, bison, that's indigenous. That's the story.
It's so authentic.
It's like, that's the story. So let's go dig in. And one thing I've learned too, that opportunities is go meet the people where they are. Don't ask them to come see you. Go there. And I remember when I was working in the campaign before to protect the Lac-St-Jean River, and I had to go visit in Kitsiganzibi and Kitsisakik, and eating like moose in a camp. Kitsisakik, it's like 2 hours north of Ottawa. They still don't have running water. They still don't have, they have communal shower and plywood. And I would go there and spend weekends with them and talk about it. And you're like, you just have to go where the people are. You cannot expect the world to change by coming to you. So that's like the opportunity and challenges, because sometimes you feel really uncomfortable. Sometimes you really wonder why you're there and what's the rules of that community or society. And you feel like very visible. But actually, that's the best way to really be part of, for me, to move those challenges and keep going and keep having bigger dreams.
I love that story. Traveling, getting out of your comfort zone, figuring out how to contribute. I actually want my daughter to learn all of those things in just that way. So we already spoke about it a little bit earlier, and I loved your story on that as well. Tell us how you define success.
So success for me, it's really weird. Like yesterday, I had a big success. I made a kimchi bison burger. I loved it. It's a new mix. I kind of created. I felt successful. But also I was sharing with my husband and one of his friends, and that was success for me. But in sometimes success, sometimes it's at so many scale. Like if I wake up and I'm smiling, that means I'm feeling good with whatever it is. There's something that's going right. I'm feeling successful. But when I'm working and there's a new project we're going on, and it's like all the things are aligning around and working globally, or I still work with governments, and things are moving in the right places, and suddenly there's a big policy change, or there's bison on the ground. Man, that's pretty success. Or there's a new product areas, there's a new green space that shows on the map. That's success. But those success are like once every decade.
They can't make you happy every day.
Exactly. They're once every decade. And you have what I've learned in those things that I do are most of the time are intangible. People don't know what I do. Most of my friends what do you do? I hug trees, I bison, I buffalo. It's really, so I've learned to do the success in every little step along the way. And sometimes it's just a text. Our friends say, I love working with you. Thank you for being there. That's just as successful, actually, than doing the bigger things.
That would mean a lot.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I know how passionate you are about food. And I loved your example that just a good meal at the end of the day, that's success, or waking up and feeling happy. I think we all need a reminder of that sometimes. Tell us what makes you feel strong, makes you feel like you can move mountains.
Oh, moving mountains. You know, the beauty of living in the mountains is you feel small. While you feel so strong, you feel so small. There's this kilometers of things, of rocks, of animated minerals and snow and movement that every day looks different. And you're like that tiny little piece when you're at the bottom of a mountain. But it makes me feel strong. And I mean, one of the things that I love the most in the summer is backpacking. Except few kilometers of all the trails in Banff National Park, I've walked them up. With my backpack, I go for 7 days, 8 days, 9 days. I go with girlfriends, I go with my husband, but I walk all the trails and I start to walk them over and over because they're always the same. And I carry my 50, 60 pounds. I feel pretty strong at that moment, but I also feel really, really strong when I'm just connected. And we're here talking about tea, but tea, to me, is one of the things that makes me feel strong every day. I do drink tea, but tea is bringing the fire element. You have to warm up with the water. And then you have the plants, the soil, the minerals. So you're kind of bringing so many things of the world back into you and connecting with. That tea to me is one of those makes me feel strong actually when I have a nice warm cup of tea like here, and I'm at home and I'm just take the time to drink it instead of just gobbling and keep running. But I take, so strong is in many ways. Yes, it's great to lift lots of weights. Yes, carry my backpack it is, but strong is more like, the real strength is just that strength of feeling that you're at the right place at the right time. And you're not all every day. And within the middle of the day, sometimes you're totally scared of what you're doing. But it's still, at the end of the day, you know you're doing something good.
What is your definition of a strong woman? And I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but to me, you are my definition because you were always larger than life, always. But what is your definition?
I think every woman's are strong. I mean,
it's true.
Like, let's kind of face it. I don't know any women who are not strong. I'm not saying that men's are not. Men's can be too. They are in general, and we need to be together or not. But women's are really strong. And I think what makes a strong woman is the women's around them. It's just who you're surrounded with. And that's
100%.
It's not really what you do. It's not really the color of your hair, your eyes, your shape.
I am a stronger, better person because of the friends I bring into my life.
Yeah, and it's the people and how you carry each other forward in life. And sometimes people fall a little bit. We have different things, but it's how do we carry each other up? That's really what makes a strong woman, and that's what woman brings to the world. It's that idea of community, of being more than the oneself.
Oh, so well said. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning. You have made my day, and I know that we are really enjoying our tea this morning. Marie-Eve picked out her organic peach blossom, a white tea to start the day with. But tell us, what is your favorite tea? What do you have at home?
So it's funny. Every day I start with a matcha green tea. So I like my matcha. I never drink coffee, ever. I don't like the smell. It won't. So I'm a matcha green tea in the morning.
You might be the only French person who doesn't like coffee.
I am definitely not. I never did in my life. So I like to start my day with green tea. Then if I'm on the it's funny, working on conservation is being on email and computer and Zoom calls a lot. It's not that glorious. You're not really in the mountains and having fun. Like you're behind a computer strategizing and talking to people. So I like in the afternoon to have a stronger black tea early afternoon. That gives me that poof again of energy, wakes up my brains. And I like a tea. I like your ginger, like I like something that just like
earthy and strong and bold.
Exactly. Yeah. And then by the evening, I kind of go down. I like herbals. Once it's past dinner, I really love herbals who has a nice little mix.
Again, thank you very much for coming out this morning. And thank you to everyone for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed our story today.
Thank you. Have a beautiful day.